You know the rule. I know the rule. We've all been told it our entire lives. But is that whole 8 glasses of water a day thing actually legit? Or is it one of the biggest health myths we've all just accepted? Well, let's find out.
Ah, yes, the famous 8 by 8 rule. It's so simple, so catchy. It's pretty much become the default advice for anyone who wants to be healthy. It's so common, in fact, that you probably never even thought to question it. But today, that's exactly what we're going to do.
And this is the big question, isn't it? If we're all trying so hard to hit this magic number, shouldn't we know why? Is there a mountain of solid research behind it? Or is it just one of those things people started saying and it just kind of stuck?
All right, first things first. Let's put this piece of popular wisdom under the microscope and see if the 8 by 8 rule can actually stand up to some real scientific scrutiny.
Okay, so a huge turning point in this whole debate came back in 2002. A doctor at Dartmouth Medical School, Dr. Heinz Walton, decided to do something surprisingly few people had done before. He actually went looking for the original scientific proof. And here it is, the bombshell. After digging through all the scientific literature he could find, his conclusion was, well, pretty blunt. There was simply no hard evidence backing up this universal advice. Turns out, the rule isn't really based on solid scientific fact at all.
So why doesn't this one-size-fits-all rule really work? Well, for a few big reasons. First, a good chunk of our water, about 20%, actually comes from the food we eat. You know, things like watermelon, cucumbers, or spinach. Second, pretty much everything you drink counts towards your total, even your morning coffee or tea. But honestly, the biggest reason, our bodies are way, way smarter than we give them credit for.
Which leads us perfectly to just how smart our bodies really are. We're not talking about guesswork here. We're talking about an incredibly sophisticated, precision-engineered system that manages our hydration all on its own.
For most healthy people, the best hydration gauge you have is the one you were born with, feeling thirsty. And get this, it's not some kind of last-ditch emergency alarm. It's actually a highly sensitive, totally natural alert system that just lets you know when it's time to drink. Think of it like your body's own built-in notification. And what's really amazing is just how precise this system is. It only takes a tiny change in the concentration of your blood plasma. We're talking just 2 to 3% to trigger a really strong, undeniable urge to have a drink. Your body is way ahead of the game. Okay, so the 8 by 8 rule is a myth. Check. But, and this is a really, really big but, that absolutely does not mean hydration isn't important. Far from it. In fact, even being just a little bit dehydrated can have a serious impact on your most critical organ, your brain. To show you what I mean, a recent study looked at exactly what happens to our cognitive performance when we don't drink enough. The researchers compared a fully hydrated group to a mildly dehydrated one, and the results, well, they're pretty eye-opening. Just look at this data. Across the board, the dehydrated group performed worse. Their memory scores dropped, they were less efficient on tests of mental flexibility, and when it came to executive function, things like planning and problem solving, they were significantly slower. This isn't just a small dip, it's a real, measurable hit to your brain power.
And it gets worse. That same study found that the dehydrated group's reaction times were delayed by a massive 12 to 18%. Just stop and think about what that means for driving, for playing sports, for any task that needs quick thinking. That's a serious impairment.
And it's not just about test scores either. It's about how you actually feel. The dehydrated participants reported feeling way more tired and a lot less alert. So if you're feeling sluggish and foggy in the afternoon, the answer might not be another cup of coffee. It might just be a glass of water.
Okay, so if the 8 by 8 rule is out, then what's the right amount? Well, the real answer is, it depends. This is all about moving away from some one-size-fits-all rule and figuring out your own personalized approach.
Your personal hydration needs are a moving target. They change based on how active you are, the climate you're in, your overall health, even things like pregnancy. Someone running a marathon in the summer has wildly different needs than someone sitting in an air-conditioned office.
So, what's a good target to aim for, especially for active people? Well, the American Council on Exercise gives a fantastic guideline. The goal is to avoid losing more than 2% of your body weight in fluid, because once you pass that threshold, that's when your physical and mental performance really starts to take a nosedive.
Now for a little twist you might not have seen coming. We've talked a lot about not drinking enough, but what about drinking too much? It turns out that overhydration is a real thing, and it can be pretty serious. It's called hyponatremia, or water intoxication. And what happens is you drink so much plain water that you actually dilute the sodium levels in your blood. This imbalance makes water rush into your cells, causing them to swell up, which is especially dangerous when it's your brain cells. Now, it's rare for most people, but it is a known risk for endurance athletes who might overdo it on just plain water.
The key takeaway here is that hydration is a spectrum. You want to be right in that balanced, sweet spot in the middle. As you can see, both extremes have clear warning signs. Dehydration has its classic symptoms, but overhydration can cause problems like dizziness and confusion. The goal is always balance.
All right, so we've busted the myth, we've explored the science, and we've seen the dangers at both extremes. Now, let's bring it all together with a simple, practical guide you can actually use every single day.
Forget counting glasses. Here are 3 much more effective tools. First and simplest, listen to your body and drink when you're thirsty. Second, take a look in the toilet. You're aiming for a light lemonade-like yellow. If it's dark, you need to drink. If it's totally clear, you might actually be overdoing it. And third, for athletes, weighing yourself before and after a workout is the absolute best way to know exactly how much fluid you lost and need to replace.
And one last interesting little tidbit for you. Does the temperature of your water actually matter? Well, it can. Warm water can be really great for helping digestion and improving circulation. Cold water, on the other hand, is fantastic for a quick alertness boost and for cooling down fast after exercise.
So we've replaced the myth with science. The 8x8 rule is out, and personalized mindful hydration is in. You now have the tools to actually listen to what your body needs, which leaves us with just one final question. Right now, in this moment, what is your body telling you? Thanks for tuning in.